Okay, so here we go, 5.1. So a monomial is basically it could be a combination of variables and coefficients that are multiplied by each other, right? So a monomial is simplified when it has no powers of powers, right? So for example, it doesn't have anything like x squared to the power of 3, okay? Each variable appears only once. All fractions are in simplest form. There are no negative exponents, that's a big one. And then there are no roots of variables and so on, right? Some examples of monomials are, let's say, 5x squared, I don't know, 2/3 x, 32xy, whatever, okay? A polynomial is a monomial, it's basically a sum of monomials, right? So a polynomial can still have one term, or it could be the sum of monomials. So for example, 3x minus 2y is a polynomial. 2/3x to the 5 plus 4x squared minus 1 is a monomial. The degree of a monomial is the sum of the degrees of each variable, okay? So for example, if you have something like 3x to the 5, the degree is 5. But if you have 2x squared y to the 4, then the degree is 4 plus 2, 6. All right, so it's the sum. The degree of a polynomial is the degree of the monomial with the greatest degree. So for example, if I have, 4x cubed plus 7x to the 6, the degree is just the highest exponent, 6. If I have x cubed y squared plus 2x squared y, okay, here I have a degree of 5. Here I have a degree of 3. So the degree is 5. Okay?
So like for each of those like sets, so like x to the third y squared, like that kind of goes together.
Yeah. Okay, so state whether each of these is a polynomial, then state the degree. Okay, here, because you have a y in the denominator, this is not a polynomial. Okay, a polynomial can only have exponents of variables that are integers starting at 0 and going up. Okay, so not a polynomial. All right, here, this is a polynomial because all of the exponents are integers, 0 or greater. So yes, it's a polynomial. And then the degree, let's see, this has a degree of 6. This has a degree of 7. This has a degree of 2. So the degree is 7. Okay? All right, yes.
So for A, for example, anytime you have a variable in a denominator, it would.
Yes, correct. Okay, so this I think you already know, right? Product of powers. So by the way, when we say the word power, x to the a, something to the power of something, that whole thing is a power. The power is not just the exponent, that's an exponent. So if you have a product of powers, you add the exponent. Dividing them, you subtract the exponent. If you have a negative exponent, it's, 1 over. If you have x to the power of a times b, you multiply the exponents. Something like this, it kind of gets distributed, so everybody gets an exponent of a. And then if you have the power of a quotient, so if you have x over y to the power of a, everybody gets an a. But if you have x over y to the power of negative a, the negative exponent means reciprocal. So what happens is this becomes the reciprocal, then it'll be y to the a, x to the a.
What's reciprocal?
Okay? What's reciprocal?
Oh.
Okay? And then x to the anything to the power of 0 is 1. Okay? All right. Simplifying expressions. If I say to simplify expressions, what do I mean by that? It means you have to rewrite everything so that there are no parentheses, common terms, or negative exponents. All right? Okay. So here, 3 over 2 to the power of negative 2, because you have a negative 2, first you take the reciprocal. Taking the reciprocal makes the exponent positive, and then this will be 2 squared over 3 squared, so 4 over 9. Okay. Here, if I have n to the power of 2 over n to the, so we subtract these exponents, this will be n to the negative 8, which is 1 over n to the 8. Yes. Leaving it like this will not be full credit because you can't have a negative exponent in your final answer.
Oh, because
Okay.
never mind. It's a stupid question.
Okay. Please, if you have questions, raise your hands,
Oh.
and then I'll take your question when I. Do you have a question?
For A, should you not simplify the equation?
You can't. That's it. 4 over 9.
Okay.
You can't. If you take a square root, that's not simplified. It's only when you can divide by the same number. Okay. Yeah.
For power of a power, are you just multiplying the two exponents?
Right. So here you have this whole thing to the power of 0. That's it. It's just 1. Okay? The whole thing to the power of 0 is just 1. Doesn't matter what you had inside. Okay. Here, let's multiply out the coefficients first. 2 times 3 gives you a 6. And then for the a's, I have negative 2 plus 3. For the b's, I just have 2, and then c to the negative 2, right? So finally, this will be 6, a to the 1, b to the 2, and then c to the negative 2 will move down, so it'll be c squared in the denominator. So when you have a negative exponent, it means reciprocal. So if the negative exponent is something in the numerator, it just moves down. If it's something in the denominator, it just moves up. Okay, very common mistake. A student will come here and they'll see this negative, they'll bring everything in the denominator. No. Ask yourself, who does the negative exponent belong to? C. Just the C. So only the C moves down. All right? Okay, here, everybody gets a 3 as an exponent. So it'll be negative 2 cubed, which is how much? Negative 8. A to the 12 over B to the 4. And that's it. Oh, 6, sorry. Okay? All right, here.
Miss Maliki,
Yeah.
but I thought you couldn't have negatives.
There isn't. There is a negative coefficient, but no negative exponents.
Okay, I see.
Okay, so here we're going to distribute that negative. So I'm going to get negative x squared minus 3x plus 4 minus x squared minus 2x plus 5. Let's combine like terms. So these will be negative 2x squared, negative 5x, positive 9.
I was. Would you, when you did the
Okay,
negative, how you turned the negative?
you have got to raise your hand.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
When you change the negative 5 into a plus 5, is that because you turn the negative into a positive?
Yes. Okay. So let's distribute here. And I get 2 times 3, 6x cubed minus 12x. That's it. Okay? All right, here. The 4 over 3x squared is going to get distributed to everybody here. Okay, so 4 over 3 times 6, how much? 8. So it's going to be 8x to the 4. Plus 4 over 3 times 9, how much? 12 x to the power of what?
2.
3 minus 4 over 3 times 12, 16x squared. Right? Very algebra 1 so far, yeah? Okay.
This is algebra 2.
So, let's distribute here. Okay? All right. So, we have to, remember, add the exponents. Okay? So here, I have negative 3. Okay, a to the power of negative 3 plus 3 is 0.
So it's just
Right.
negative 3.
B to the power of 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay? Plus 4. A to the negative 3 and then a squared. I add them, so it'll be a to the negative 1. B, 2 and negative 1 gives you 1. Right, minus 5. Okay, a negative 3 and then positive 1 is a to the negative 2. B to the 0. Now, okay, here I have negative 3b cubed plus, okay, who does this negative exponent belong to? Just the a, right? So this will be plus 4b over a. Only the a moves down. Hang on, let me finish this, please. This is a 3. And then lastly, minus 5. A has a negative exponent, so it moves into the denominator, and then the b is just 1. Okay? So ask yourself, who does the negative belong to? Just this, only that moves down. Okay, question, and then I really have to like get through this. Okay. Okay. So here, we're gonna distribute this, okay? There's like several ways to do this. You can either distribute this x minus 4 into this or this to that. I mean, it really doesn't matter. So why don't we do this? Let's multiply the x squared to the x and the negative 4, right? So we get x cubed minus 4x squared. Now let's do the 4x to the other one. So we get positive 4x squared minus 16x. Now let's do the 16. Okay? And then simplify. So x cubed, the x squares will go away. The 16x's will go away. Minus 64, and that's it. Okay? All right. Here, a plus b, a minus b, and then 2a minus 3b. So first we're going to multiply these to each other. Okay? And this is a pattern. A minus b, a plus b. It becomes what?
A squared plus b squared.
A squared minus b squared. You have to put that in parentheses. You have to put it in parentheses. And now we're going to multiply it with 2a minus 3b. Okay? So now this is just kind of first, outer, inner, last. So this is going to be 2a cubed minus 3a squared b minus 2ab squared plus 3b cubed. Then you scan. There are no like terms. We're done. Okay? Okay. Here. All right. Here, you have to be, several ways to tackle this one. But why don't we do PEMDAS? So why don't we just simplify inside the parenthesis first, okay? So I've got this to the power of negative 3. Inside, I have a 2 and a 3, numerator and denominator. We'll just leave it. Okay, what about the x's? I have x squared and x to the negative 4. That becomes x to the what?
6.
Positive 6 in the numerator. And then I have y to the negative 3 minus 5. That's what? Y to the negative 8. So where do I put it? In the denominator as a positive 8. Okay? So negative 3 minus 5 will be negative 8. So now I have y to the negative 8. I move it to the bottom and I call it y to the positive 8. Okay, so now let's flip and take the reciprocal. So it'll be 3y to the 8 over 2x to the 6 to the power of positive 3. And now distribute that exponent to every element inside the parentheses. So 3 to the power of 3 will be 27. Y to the what? 24. Over 2 to the what? 8. And x to the what? Correct. Okay? Okay. Yeah.
When you multiply exponents, why did we multiply them here but not add them?
Because when you multiply exponents, you multiply them. So refer here, multiplying exponents, you do a times b.
Oh, it's multiplying them. No.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so here, let's just write this out 3 times. Okay, so look, I'm going to do this one, these two. Okay? I'm going to do those two. So what is that? That's really 2d minus 3 squared, right? So I'm going to do the shortcut because we're in Algebra 2 Honors. We got to do the shortcut. So how does that work? You square the first term, 4d squared. You square the last term, plus 9. In the middle, you get 2 times negative 3, negative 6, times 2, negative 12d. Times 2d minus 3. Okay? Okay, now for this one, I'm going to do it in the reverse order. I'm going to do this multiplied into here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to multiply 2d into this one, and this one. Okay? So I get 8d cubed minus 24d squared plus 18d. Yeah? And then I'm going to multiply negative 3 to this one, and this one. So negative 3 times 4, negative 12d squared, positive 36d, negative 27. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so let's add these. So 8d cubed, that's alone. The d squared are negative 24 and negative 12, so that's negative 36. 18 and positive 36, how much is that these days? Positive 54d. And then minus 27. Okay? All right. Okay, now, any questions?